As the nation is in shock over this horrific mass shooting, this Muslim terrorist attack in Orlando, we will answer the question, why? Why did the shooter do what he did? I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
We are going to talk in this segment about why. Why did Omar Mateen go into a gay nightclub and kill at least 50 people? Why? I'm going to read to you the quote from President Obama. Over the coming days, we will uncover how and why this happened, and we will go wherever the facts lead us. I'd like to also read to you the opening sentence of one of the Washington Post stories. Three of the most contentious questions in American culture and politics, gay rights, gun control, and terrorism, collided in a horrific way in an Orlando nightclub early Sunday. It is not entirely clear what inspired Omar Mateen to commit the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, or what might have been done to stop it. It actually is clear. Now, what I'm about to share with you is not on most TV and radio stations, and it's also not in most newspapers today. Hopefully it will be. One of my missions in doing this segment is to just simply answer the question that President Obama posed. Why? The answer goes back to Muhammad himself. Let me read you just two of many passages where Muhammad called for the death of homosexuals. The prophet, peace be upon him, said, "If you find anyone doing as Lot's people did, kill the one who does it and the one to whom it is done." We put the reference up there so that you can freeze frame this and you can do your own research. Now, the next passage I'm going to read to you is from Sharia law, okay? Listen to this. The prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, said, "Kill the one who sodomizes and the one who lets it be done to him." Now this is look at that reference, Sharia law, Reliance of the Traveler, P, that's not page, that's a reference that they use, P 17.3. In the English translation, it's page number 665. Can we get a tight shot on this, please? This is a copy of the Reliance of the Traveler. Now, this book is an English translation with the Arabic right next to it of Islamic Sharia law, and this is called the Shafi'i school. Quick background. In Islamic ideology, there are four main schools of Sharia law: the Hanafites, the Malachites, the Shafi'ites, and the Hanbalites, okay? Those four schools, they base Sharia law on two things. What did Muhammad do and say that is not in the Quran? What does the Quran say? And then a lesser thing that they look for is unity among all four schools. Because Muhammad said that Allah would protect his people from ever agreeing unanimously on an error. So, for example, all four schools call for the death of apostates. That's why Muslims who leave Islam are killed. It's part of all four schools of Sharia law. All right, this is an English translation. The Reliance of the Traveler is an English translation of the Shafi'i school of Islamic law. That second quote I read to you is from this book. Now, if you want to understand the why, all right, President Obama said, why did he do this? The Washington Post says, we're not sure why. No, we are sure why. This is why. He's a devout Muslim, or he was a devout Muslim. Omar Mateen was a devout Muslim who wanted to do Allah's will. And Allah's will is delineated by Muhammad, his words and deeds that are not in the Quran, and the Quran, okay? So this young man is reading this book. This book, all right, in English and in Arabic, calls for the death of homosexuals, and the death decree came from Muhammad himself. Now, I know that this is really disturbing because those of us who are Americans especially, we are taught to think in terms of tolerance concerning other people's religious beliefs, all right? Well, this man had religious beliefs that demanded from him a certain set of actions. And that's where we begin to melt down. Because Obama says we're going to follow this wherever it leads us. Well, we have to ask the question, what if it leads us right to Muhammad? Right to the founder of Islam himself? In other words, what if killing homosexuals is inherent to Islamic ideology? What if this man didn't just, hijack the peaceful religion of Islam, but he's actually living out Muhammad's dream, Muhammad's orders, what Muhammad demanded? When we come back from this break, I want to talk to you about something someone close to me, one of our producers, said that we're not getting this. Already there's this fighting going on about gun rights and the divisiveness, but we need to step back and ask ourselves, what if it was me? What if I was the target? Don't go away, please. If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you. So that we understand that this is not some taken out of context passage, I want you to watch this clip of an imam who, and by the way, I give credit to ABC, the ABC affiliate in Orlando, Florida, for getting this footage. Watch this, listen to him.
Dr. Farouk Sakalishvar lives in Iran, according to his online bio, and he's been condemning homosexuals since at least 2013.
Death is the sentence. I mean, look. There's nothing to be embarrassed about this. That death is the sentence.
He admits the Islamic death sentence applies in limited circumstances and is not applicable under U.S. law. But he also says the only way gays and lesbians can be forgiven is to die.
But we have to have that compassion for people. With homosexuality, the same. Out of compassion, let's get rid of him now.
So do you see? Unashamed. We can't be embarrassed, he said. The death sentence is required for homosexuals. And he said it's an act of compassion. That's because Muhammad taught that when certain sexual crimes were committed, that the purging, the purification, the forgiveness came through the execution. That's why it's so important that we study Muhammad. We're never going to understand Islamic terrorism if we don't study the words and deeds of Muhammad that are not in the Quran. Now, some people are appalled because of this mass shooting. But there's a type of grief and a type of shock that happens when people are killed at a Christmas party, like happened in San Bernardino. Because the mind says, I could have been at a Christmas party. Most people that are watching this program, most people would not have been at a gay nightclub at 2 a.m. And so they think, wow, that's really horrible what happened to those people, but they don't have the emotional connection of that could have happened to me. And what I want you to understand is, yes, it could have happened to you. Because what motivated this man to kill those people, the why, as President Obama asked, and the Washington Post said, we can't know why. Oh, yes, we can. What motivated him was his commitment to follow the words and deeds, the example of Muhammad. That's what motivated him. He said so himself, okay? He pledged allegiance to ISIS, to Abu Bakr in his 911 call. And Abu Bakr and ISIS are committed to extending Sharia law through the earth. And this is what Sharia law calls for. So it's really not a mystery if you just want to look at it, look at the facts. So those of us who think, well, you know, that wouldn't have happened to me, I wouldn't have been there. And that's not the issue. The issue is the why. Listen to what Muhammad said. Let me read to you from the Quran first. The punishment of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and strive to make mischief in the land is only this, that they should be murdered or crucified, or their hands and their feet should be cut off on opposite sides, or they should be imprisoned. This shall be as a disgrace for them in this world, and in the hereafter they shall have a grievous chastisement. Now, making war against Allah and His apostle, that's clearly talking about fighting. But that phrase, making mischief in the land, that's the Arabic word fitna. Fitna, disbelief or disorder or causing disbelief or disruption or tumult. In other words, if someone denies that Muhammad is the prophet of God, the apostle of God, they are making mischief in the land. So when I come on this TV show and I say, Muhammad is not a true prophet of God, that is fitna. That is making mischief in the land. And the punishment of those who make mischief in the land is that they be murdered or crucified or have their hand and foot cut off or that they be imprisoned. That's what the Quran teaches. But I want to go a step further and look at what Muhammad said. Because again, you might say, well, I wouldn't have been in that bar at that hour. It doesn't matter. If you don't believe that Muhammad is the prophet of God, then you're involved in making mischief against him. Listen to what Muhammad said. I have been commanded to fight people until they testify that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is the messenger of God. If they say it, they have saved their blood and possessions from me. Look at that. That's what Muhammad was after. I have been commanded to fight people. Listen to what Abu Bakr said, all right? And by the way, the leader of ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi chose his name of Abu Bakr because he knew that the first caliph, the first successor of Muhammad after Muhammad's death was Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr is the one in Muhammad's era that waged the apostate wars, the wars of apostasy, because so many Muslims left Islam after Muhammad died, and Abu Bakr said, oh, no, you don't. You promised you would follow this religion, and he fought them to bring them back in. So the man the dude in Syria or Iraq, wherever he's hiding, he chose that name because he said, I'm going to do like Abu Bakr did. I'm going to fight to bring Muslims back into true Sharia law, true Islam with a caliph. So this is what Abu Bakr said. Allah then guided by the truth whoever answered him, and the prophet struck and fought those who turned away from him, God, by his permission, until they entered Islam either willingly or grudgingly. Now here's what Sharia law, what I'm about to read to you. See, Muhammad brought people into Islam willingly or grudgingly, the point of a sword. What I'm about to read you about the purpose of jihad, and that's what this man was doing, he's a jihadist, is in this book. I'm quoting directly from this book. I do not sell this book. I encourage you to get it. The Reliance of the Traveler. Listen to what it says about jihad. In the book, under the objectives of jihad, it says the Caliph, Muhammad's successor, makes war upon Jews, Christians, Zoroastrians, until they become Muslims or else pay the non-Muslim poll tax. The Caliph fights all other peoples until they become Muslims. That's what Sharia law teaches about the objectives of jihad. And there's a lot more in there I don't have time to go into. So this can be happening to us. Yes, Muhammad called for the death of homosexuals. This is a repugnant, horrific act. And by the way, this will surprise some people, but you have to step back. You have to step back. I have been a well-known opponent of homosexual marriage for decades, all right? But I will stand with the homosexual community against this atrocity, against Islam, because Islam that wants to kill them wants to kill me, and it wants to kill you, because we make mischief in the land just by denying that Muhammad is the prophet of God. That's what we're facing, people, in the heart and soul of ISIS and Islamic terrorism, is that they are going to these books, to these sources, and they're reading, well, the objective of jihad is to get them to pay the poll tax or to kill them or enslave them. And they're living it out. They're living out the words and deeds of Muhammad. So we have to understand that maybe we wouldn't have been in that nightclub, but maybe we would be in a Christmas party in San Bernardino. And it's just a matter of time till there's a terrorist attack in an American church on American soil. And the motivation for that coming attack, God please save us, but if it comes, that coming attack is going to be motivated by the same passages that this terrorist in Orlanda was reading. Okay? That's what we're facing. And that's the why that President Obama says, well, we'll find out why. The Washington Post says, we don't understand why. No, it's right here. You just have to read these sources and understand that Muslims are reading it and they believe it. I'll be right back to discuss profiling. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. Lone wolves. It's a catchphrase that media people are using right now. But here's the problem. What does it say? If you read the biographies of Muhammad's life, he dispatched lone wolves, as we call them, all the time. An assassin who would go out at Muhammad's command to kill somebody, to murder somebody who had, say, mocked Muhammad or written poetry against him. So we're looking at this all wrong. A lone wolf, as we call them, it's a misnomer. All this man had to do was to pick up these books that I'm referencing and read them. And if he says, okay, this is Islam, I read the Quran, I read Sharia law, I read the biographies, I read the hadith of Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, And in those books, I see that Muhammad ordered us to kill homosexuals. The end. He doesn't have to go for training. He doesn't have to sit in class after class. He just has to read the primary documents of Islam as practiced by Muhammad and his companions in the first generation. That's it. And that, by the way, is the snapshot. So if we want to see who should be showing up on the radar, there's going to have to be profiling. But it's not just that we're profiling Muslims. No. See who's going to the websites. See who's buying the books that have this stuff in them. If they're going to these, the websites are more important, but if they're looking at websites that have a preponderance of quotes from the seeras, the biographies of Muhammad, or quotes from various hadith regarding jihad, killing Christians and Jews, killing homosexuals, the paradise offered to Muslim terrorists who die in battle. These are passages that there are literally thousands of them that they can be reading. But there are places where they can go to get lots of them, and they get stoked up, they get pumped up. This is my vision. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to earn paradise. I'm going to get those virgins in paradise. I'm going to be able to pray for my family to come to paradise because I died as a martyr in jihad. That's how you can profile, and you can figure out who's leaning towards this. Look at the way they dress. Look at what they read. If they're trying to mimic Muhammad, if they're following the sites that talk about following Muhammad, there is your warning sign. I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you and, yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country, and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself. I'm encouraging you, go and buy these books. Buy The Life of Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq, and buy The Reliance of the Traveler on Sharia law, and read them for yourselves. There's a reason why you're not hearing what I'm talking about on any other major news outlet. And it's not because they're not interested. It's because the commentators that they hire or that they interview don't know this material. I've been studying this for my master's degree in international terrorism for years. And we're putting together, by the way, go and watch the trailer. We've got this upcoming TV series, What Would Muhammad Do? The Shadow of the Sword, where we look at every one of these aspects of Islamic terrorism that is tied right back to Muhammad's life. Go to our website, voiceofresistance.com, and watch the trailer. It's 3 minutes long. This is a episodic documentary, okay, that's coming up, connecting the dots between Muhammad's life and the deeds of Muslim terrorists today. Go to the website you see on the screen right there and watch the trailer for yourself. But the call to action is very simple. Study your enemy. You want to understand Islamic terrorism? You want to know what we're up against? Read their words. Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, right? And Churchill read Mein Kampf. That's how come Churchill knew what Hitler was going to do. So if we want to understand Islamic terrorists, we have to get the books that they're reading. We have to study the stories and get inside the storyline that they see themselves in. Then we can be better prepared to protect ourselves and please God be victorious against Islamic terrorism.